Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Middleware Technologies. Today we'll be looking at how to use Ansible playbooks. Okay. So in my last video, like I have shown you like how we can use the Ansible modules to run like modules and check on the remote node. So that is basically executing some set of scripts or some set of basic modules directly from the command line and checking on the remote node, like managing the remote node. But let's say if you want to set up a server with some services. Okay, so if you want to do that one, uh, it may not be possible to execute all the individual Ansible modules one by one on a command line. Okay, so that's where the playbooks come into picture. So playbooks help us structure our modules like which we want to execute on the remote node. So basically, let's say if we want to set up a server with some service, so we can execute all the tasks related to that specific service using a playbook. Okay, so here in this video, I'll be showing you how to set up a Jenkins service on a remote node using the playbook. Okay, so a playbook. So I have given you a high level overview of what a playbook is. But uh, from the definition of the playbook, actual definition from Google, if you see, so playbook it actually helps in uh, uh, like executing our structuring our list of tasks that we want to execute, and we can set up variables also in that playbook which will be used to provide the data. And in playbook we can set up the remote user with which we want to log in onto the remote node and execute our playbook. And also like if at all any step or any model which we want to execute requires special privileges, we can escalate the privileges to the respective user, like root or any other user with the administrative privileges to execute that command or uh, command or module, whatever we want to execute. Okay, so let's see in this video like how we want to set up Jenkins service on a remote node. So I have Ansible node which is a controller wherein I have my Ansible installed. So this is uh, fedserver.stack.com. Okay, and I have another remote node which I want to manage, that is Ansi node. So its IP is 192.168.47.130. Okay, so if you go into my previous video where we have seen how to manage a node, and we have seen how we can set up our inventory file. So let me show you the inventory file which we have already set up. Okay, so etc ansible host. You can go into folder. So as you can see, this is the remote node IP address that we'll be setting up the Jenkins service. So let's see what are the prerequisites required to set up a Jenkins server. Okay, so ideally, like any service or any package, any service we want to install. So the basic things we do is we set up the respective RPM repository from where we can download the RPM package, and we need to import the respective GPG keys. Okay, for that RPM, so that we will be able to download and install the packages on our machine. Okay, so that is the first step that we'll be doing, basically setting up the repository from where we can download the RPM packages. Okay, so once that repository has been set up, okay, so we can refresh our yum repo so that it picks up that repository and updates the cache, and we can install the package that is required from that repository. Okay, so this is the basic step that we will be carrying out. So here in Jenkins also, we'll be carrying out the same steps. So first we'll be setting up the repository, and then we'll be installing the respective packages from there. So from the documentation of Jenkins, if you go through, to set up a Jenkins service or Jenkins server, minimum requirement is 256 MB RAM and 1 GB hard disk. So that is sufficient for running basic Jenkins server and execute some basic jobs. Okay, but if you are going to use the Jenkins service to build jobs related to applications which have a lot of dependency and sorry, then you need to consider increasing your CPU and RAM on that server, or you need to set up the node nodes wherein the build can be executed, like distributed nodes, I would say. Okay, so let's see how we can uh, set up the repository repository for the Jenkins service to be installed. Okay. So I've already prepared the playbook. So I'll just go through the steps that will be executed as a part of that playbook. Okay, so here is the playbook that we'll be executing to set up our Jenkins service. Okay, so as a first step, we need to set up the host wherein we want to execute this playbook. Okay, so host, it shows a stack. So this is where my IP address is grouped. So this is basically grouping set of nodes under which we want to execute a playbook. Okay, so in my case, I have my remote node IP address present under this group, so it will execute on that particular IP address or remote node. Okay, and I want to log in with my remote user admin. So in your case, you can update it with whatever ID or user ID you have set up with the remote node, with which you can log into without any password. Like you can SSH onto the remote node without any password. Okay, so that ID you can utilize. Okay, and so basically I am trying to install the RPM packages. So for that I'll need escalated privileges. So we'll need to set up become as true. So it basically uh, it initially logs in onto the remote node with the user ID admin, but whenever it is going to execute the tasks, so it is going to execute with root privileges basically. Okay, so let's see what is the first task that we are going to complete as a part of this playbook. So as you can see, we need to set up the Jenkins repository. So we need to add the Jenkins repository to our yum repo. Okay. So this is the task name, and this is the module that we are going to use. So yum underscore repository. So in our last video I have shown you there are various modules like copy, file, ping module. So these are all modules that we can utilize within the playbook under tasks. So basically task is nothing but a collection of modules which we want to execute on a particular remote node. Okay, so the first model that we are going to execute is yum underscore repository. So it is basically setting up the repository on the remote node. So as you can see, like I have given a name to my repository and description and base URL. So this is important, base URL and Gpg key, which you will be able to get it from the Jenkins documentation. So basically, if you go to installing Jenkins documentation, you can find the base URL and the Gpg key, which are required to be set up for installing the Jenkins. Okay, so next thing basically is importing your Gpg key. Okay, so here we are utilizing the rpm underscore key module. Okay, so basically we need to like pass in the key which we want to import. So this module helps in importing the key. So state is equal to present miss. So we need to make sure that this Jenkins key has been imported on our remote node. Okay, so this is the first basically task that we need to carry out to set up our repository. So we need to have the rpm repo, uh, a URL, base URL configured, and the Gpg key imported onto remote. Okay, so once we have our repository available, okay, we can install the package using yum module. So I think we have seen this module in our last video using the standalone like Ansible command, wherein we executed some the installed some packages on the report. Okay, so here uh, uh, you can see like the name which is actually like actually configured with a variable packages. Okay, so this variables like packages variable, so it has Jenkins and Jenkins dev. So these are the two packages that are going to be installed as a part of this yum step. Okay, so state is equal to present means it is going to uh, like check whether this package is available or not. If not available, the latest version of the packages will be stored. They are already present, no action will be taken. So basically it is not going to upgrade your packages. But let's say you are going to put state as latest. Even though package is available, it will try to check the repo if the any latest version of the package is available, and then it will try to upgrade the package. Okay, and you can see the update underscore cache. So this is basically updating the cache of the yum repository. So this is required to make sure like you have the latest data from the repository. Okay, so this is a step wherein we are going to actually install the package in the Jenkins package and the Java package, Java JDK and JRE, which is required for running the Jenkins service. Okay, so once our Jenkins packages, the Java dependent packages are installed, what we need to do is we need to reload our systemd daemon. Okay, so this is required because uh, the service that we want to start or we want to enable the Jenkins service, the symlink will not be created if you are not reloading this daemon. Okay, So this is the step that I have added to make sure this system daemon is reloaded, so that whenever we are going to start our Jenkins service. So this is the module, like service module we are using to start our Jenkins service. Okay, and we need to make sure before that we are like reloading our daemon. Okay, so once we have started the Jenkins service, so basically Jenkins by default listens on port 80. Okay, so if you have like if you have your firewall installed and enabled on your machine, Linux machine, you need to open the port 8080 and the service, Jenkins service on that service, so that you will be able to access from external uh, external device. Like I will be able to access the service from external uh, device or external node other than the remote node. Okay. So this is the playbook which I have like prepared to basically set up the Jenkins service on my remote node. So first we have will be installed setting up the remote repository, installing the importing the RPM package key, GPG keys. Then we are going to install the packages Jenkins and Java development package. Then we are reloading the system daemon, which is required to create the service symlink. And then we are starting our services and opening the firewall uh, like port and service. Okay, so let me try to execute this and see what it carries out on the remote node. Ansible Playbook is the command line utility that we will be using to run the playbook, and this is the playbook name which we are going to execute. So if you remember, like I have mentioned become as yes. So basically we want to execute our playbook using the escalated privileges. So for that we need to pass the password uh, for the escalated privileges. Okay, so minus k is the option that we need to pass, so that it will ask for so that uh, we can we can execute our playbook using escalated privileges. So it is asking me the password for uh, the administrative user root. So let me key in that and started executing the playbook. Okay, so this is going to execute, as you can see, my playbook on the stack group, so which contains my remote node IP address 130. So first task that it uh, carries out by default is gathering the facts from the remote node. Okay, so gathering the facts from remote node is basically all the information related to the remote node, like disk, memory, CPU, what is the version of the Ansible, what is the version of the OS, kernel, all those details, network IP, IP address, gateway, DNS, whatever information is there, which can be captured from the remote node, that is getting captured using this default step or task. Okay, and the next steps that it is going to execute is the steps that are available in the playbook. Okay, so the first step, you can see it is enabling the Jenkins repository. Okay, so it has enabled the Jenkins repository on my machine. So basically it is showing as okay, because I have already executed this playbook. So if that repository is already set up on the remote node, there is no action taken, so it shows green. Okay, Then importing the GPG key is the second task that we carried out, which is also done. So it shows okay. The third one is installing the Jenkins and Java development package. So this is already like I have executed, so it is already available on my remote node. Yeah, as you can see, so this is the RPM package that is already installed. And these are the Java development packages that got installed as a part of Java development, which we executed using the playbook. Okay, so let me go into my Ansible controller, and the next command you can see, next task you can see, it is reloaded the system daemon. Okay, so basically it has restarted my system t daemon, so that's why it shows as changed on the remote node. So whenever there is a change happening, it shows the uh, the task status as changed. Okay, and then we have started the service, so my service is already enabled and started, so it shows as okay. The last two tasks are related to the firewall, which opens the port on the remote node, that is 8080 port, the service firewall like service that is in Jenkins. So let me show you. LB CMD firewall CMD list all you can do. So it will, so let me, okay, so as you can see it shows like services. My Jenkins service has been included in the firewall list of services which will be accessible from external network. And in the ports, like as you can see, 8080 port is added so that it can be accessible from the external network. Okay, so right now I am there on my Ansible controller. So this is the local host on which I am available. So let me try to access the Jenkins URL listening on port 8080. One ninety two, 168, 130, and port 8080. So if we load, so you'll be able to like access. So this is actually I already set up. So initially if you try to access this URL, it will not show the login page directly, but it will show a welcome page, like basically asking you to like install a set of plugins or customize your plugins that you want to install. Then once the plug and before that it will show you uh, to enter the password for the user, which Jenkins user, which is set up by default. So that password can be extracted from a file. That information is also shown to you on the first page itself. So once you log in, it will try to ask you to install a set of plugins by default, or customize your plugin list that we want to install. So once that plugin installation is all completed, your Jenkins is set up. If you log out and try to access this URL again, you will come to the login page. Okay, so I just logged in with the user that I have set up initially after accessing the like page, Jenkins page. So this is our dashboard which we can utilize to manage our jobs, Jenkins job. So, okay, so yeah, so this is all for today's video. So what I wanted to show you basically was how we can okay, let me go into my Ansible controller. So what I wanted to show you is how we can use a playbook to execute a set of modules which will be uh, able to set up a service on the remote node. And we have seen like how to utilize variables and how to execute a particular playbook with a remote user, and how to escalate the privileges. So all these things we have seen how we can use the firewall module and service module. So all the service which are basic uh, modules which we can utilize to set up a service. Okay, so all these steps we actually carry out using the scripts or uh, on the bash shell. Okay, like basically using the RPM tool and the systemd tool. All these tools we use basically executing directly on the server, but how we can utilize them using Ansible Playbook and manage remotely. So which helps a lot for the system admin without actually logging into that node. So this playbook, if we want to run on 100 servers, it will be of great help, right? So we can execute this playbook and set up our Jenkins server on 100 servers which we want to utilize. So just execute this playbook on the remote node like host group, and you are done. Okay. So that's what like we wanted to see. I wanted to show you in this video. Yeah. So thank you all. Thanks for watching this video. I hope I hope you learned something in this video. And yeah, thank you. In our next week, we'll try to see something new on a new topic. Thank you.